You're watching Swipe. Coming up on this week's show.
Cashing in on the coding revolution. I check out the drone touted as being able to fly where no other drone can. And we go VR in our games review.
Welcome to Swipe. If you're a fan of drones, keep watching because this week we're at the Commercial UAV Show, said to be Europe's #1 unmanned aerial vehicle technology show. More on that to come. But first, it's been 2 years since the UK rolled out its new computing curriculum in schools. That's led to the rise of an entire new industry devoted to making coding products for children, as Chris has been finding out.
These primary school children are building their own computers. Kano is a do-it-yourself kit that's designed to help kids learn the basics of coding. It comes with an instruction booklet and a few simple parts.
To keep strong and safe, let's make a case.
Once put together, it lets you do things like program video games and make your own sounds.
Once you've done it, I think it can be really easy. Out of scratch, you can make a game.
I think it's just really cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
It's a quick and easy way to have fun.
The product is the brainchild of 26-year-old Alex Klein.
This time we'll pick a random colour each time.
He launched the first version in 2014 after raising more than £1 million on Kickstarter. And the latest models, which include a buildable camera and speaker, have just met their crowdfunding target.
The computer kit, our original and core product, lets you make a simple PC, make Minecraft with it, make music, make art, and share your creations. The idea is to make it simple and fun for anyone in the world to be creative with computing rather than consumptive.
Okay, let's take off the stuff.
2 years ago, British schools threw out the ICT curriculum, replacing it with computing. The government's bold aim was to get children as young as 6 learning to code.
Oh, good.
Since then, there's been an explosion of companies like Kano offering programming products to kids. This London-based company has created a wooden robot designed to get 3-year-olds into computing. Whereas this kit lets kids make their own wearable devices. But are there too many products out there?
Since the new curriculum's come in, there's been a big pickup in what children can do, and also to the software and the facilities that are available to schools. And there has been a sort of flood in the market with so many different devices in so many different ways. There is a little bit of confusion about what's the best, what's going to lead to the best outcomes. I think having those conversations, those questions, is the right way to be.
With the most basic Kano kit selling for just under £150, the business opportunities here are clear. It's perhaps little wonder then that its backers include Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak. As school children become more and more computer savvy, it's no doubt the market will keep getting bigger. Chris Creegan, Sky News.
Stay with us. Still to come, I'll be getting a drone piloting crash course. That's coming right up after a roundup of this week's tech news.
Facebook's going to start helping people order food. The social media giant is rolling out a service that will let users in the US get restaurant deliveries through the site. The company says customers will also be able to buy film tickets and book appointments at spas or hairdressers. Doctors are using handheld scanners to detect bleeds inside boxers' heads for the first time. The makers say the scanners can spot problems before symptoms like headaches or confusion become apparent. Boxing authorities have been under pressure to improve safety. The latest game in the Football Manager franchise is incorporating Brexit into the gameplay. The creators of the football simulation title said it wouldn't feel right to keep it out of the game. Storylines will range from a soft Brexit to a hard Brexit and will affect your ability to sign players from outside the UK. We've all heard of companies like Uber and Lyft when it comes to hailing taxis. Well, now a smartphone app has launched in India to make it easier to hire tractors.
He can even order it using the Tringo app.
Tringo lets farmers rent them on the fly, complete with a driver, for £5 an hour. The idea is that it saves them from having to splash out on buying an expensive vehicle themselves. Stick around for our games review. We're fighting crime with the Caped Crusader. But first...
Now, as you'd imagine, at a drone show, you get a lot of drones. You also get a lot of noise, as you can hear. There are exhibitors here from all over the world, and I want to introduce you to one team from Switzerland showcasing what they're calling a world first. So come on over. This is Johan and the Elios. Johan, Hello, come and talk to us.
How are you doing?
I'm
today?
good. Talk to us about the Helios. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's the Helios. Basically, it's the world's first collision tolerant drone. It was designed to go to places where no other flying robots can go by our team of Swiss engineers in Lausanne.
Designed to go to places that no other flying robots can go to, like where?
Like, ballast tanks of a cargo vessel, like chemical tankers, like crevasses, collapsed buildings.
So disaster zones.
It can be used for search and rescue purposes, but also for industrial inspections. Basically, it can be piloted beyond line of sight in pitch dark environment, and it can touch obstacles without losing its ability to fly.
Is there a camera in there?
Yeah, the payload has a video camera, HD camera, and a thermal camera, and you also have powerful LED lightning, so it can go to pitch dark environments and continue flying.
So in a disaster recovery situation, it would be able to go and tell rescuers what's inside a building.
Exactly. If there's a collapsed building, for example, you would send the drone, and it can basically look for victims. If there's no victims, there's no need to send a fire brigade or search and rescue team.
What would make it lose its ability to fly?
Pretty much nothing, unless you drown it into water, where it would freeze, obviously. And apart from that, if you let it fall from 100 or 200 meters or break it with a hammer, of course you could break it. It was not meant to be not destroyed, but it was meant to be able to continue flying while touching objects. You can also touch it, and it's risk-free for humans. Which is one of the major concerns of commercial UAVs right now.
How much is it?
Okay, so it's a drone that was designed for inspection professional, and as such, it has a price point that is quite higher than what you find on the consumer market. But on the other hand, it's created to bring value, safety, and fun to our clients.
And Johan, thanks for talking to us, and thanks for showing us the Helios.
Yeah, thank you for coming to visit us.
Now, last week we saw the hotly anticipated UK launch of PlayStation VR, so we thought this week we'd get Gav to check out some of its titles.
So like a lot of people, I've pretty much only been playing VR stuff. I kind of only exclusively exist in VR now, and that's okay because VR is better than our normal world. But a game that's definitely better than the real world is the Batman VR experience.
When illusion becomes the new reality.
So it's made by Rocksteady Studios, who made the Arkham Knight series, and you can tell that because it is that world. So if you've played any of those games, it feels like being back in that world Rocksteady's created.
How do you feel when you put on that mask?
And it's incredible to be like really up close with things, because like usually you're sort of zipping around and, you know, doing little missions, but you get to go like really up close to like the walls and things, which I know doesn't sound like it'd be that interesting, but in VR it is, because you're Batman, and there's nothing that really matches the experience of, you know, I've wanted to be Batman since I was a little kid, and actually looking down and I'm in Batman's suit, like reaching out, picking up the cowl and putting it on and actually becoming Batman, talking to Alfred as Batman. This is one of my first things that I played on the PSVR, and unfortunately is the best thing. So everything that I talk about from now on, basically you have to remember, isn't as good as Batman VR. But that's okay.
If you find a mask that fits, you never need to take it off.
Eve Valkyrie was one of the very first things I ever played on VR, like years ago at Eve Fan Fest. Now, Eve Online is obviously this crazy sort of online world of spaceships and spreadsheets, which is anyone who plays Eve will tell you. Like, I love that game, but I've never played that game because I just can't get into it because I don't have enough time. But Eve Valkyrie puts you in that world, but as a fighter pilot.
We're at the battle site. Lots of useful tech still here, but it looks like a rival faction has turned up and they're not in a sharing mood.
It kind of like takes all the cool things about the Eve universe and then makes it accessible to someone who's stupid. Like me, which is good. Well, not stupid, but someone who can put a virtual reality headset on, which is anyone. It's really, really good. It's probably one of the most polished games on VR, I think, because they've just been working on it for so long. Because of that, though, it doesn't rely on like cheap things like, you know, just wow factors or making you Batman or like scares or anything like that. It's an actual really accomplished game with lots of stuff going on, a proper storyline, like actual voice actors. And it's really hard as well. Like, it's kind of one of the most unforgiving for people because, as I said, it doesn't rely on it being like a big thing that it's virtual reality. It's just a really, really good game. And as I said, probably the most polished of all the VR titles that's out there. Thumper is a virtual reality game that, really strangely, when I came away, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Now, when it was explained to me, as I'm about to try and do to you, I wasn't that into it. It's basically like a rhythm action game with kind of like strange things going on. It doesn't look like anything you've ever seen. It's the closest probably to an actual virtual reality Lawnmower Man experience. Rhythm action game set in all these different worlds, but it's really, really heavily reliant on music, so definitely get some really good headphones when you're playing it. And you're set in these like really strange worlds, like, you know, you've got to like hit buttons and it does different things. You have to sort of get really in time with the time signature, because every single level, so if it's like, you know, 4-4, will have that time signature, and it even has like the really weird time signature of 5-4, which is really hard to listen to, and it's even harder to play along to when you're trying to be this little sort of bug thing. But yeah, it's one of the only virtual reality games that I've actually had a dream about, which I don't know if that's good or bad that it's infected my mind like that, but it has, so I guess that's where we are.
Well, that's it for this week. Don't forget you can watch any of our Swipe episodes on our YouTube playlist. Just type in Sky News Swipe and stay up to date with all the latest tech stories on Sky News on mobile, tablet catch-up and Sky Q. We'll be back next week. Hope you can join us then. Bye-bye.